Okay, let's see if this works now.
Dad,
What's up, buddy?
play the game with me?
Don't you see that I'm trying to make a video?
After.
We'll see. Alright, let's see if this works, guys.
I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
For some reason, even James, I can't, even if I wanted James on here, I can't invite him. And it says Ricky Lynn, Dante, bring them on camera, and then it says Tanner, but it doesn't say anything. Shane, it says I can bring him on camera. Tom just sent a link. Let's check it out. Still no invite button on this end. This is dumb. I was excited. Oh, man. I'll play some theme music while I figure it out. Maybe they took my ability away. That's probably what happened. Here we go, theme music. I already sent you a request earlier and it just timed out. We got theme music. This is the jam. Yes, the Ramones do rock. Tap on your newsfeed, start live video. I guess I am. Well, let's see if I can try this one more time. I wonder if it's like something with the privacy settings. Tap the bottom to invite friends or members, which I did. To watch your live video. Once your friends are watching, tap the button to select a friend from your viewers list and tap add. Your friend will receive a notification to join your live video. You can also add a friend or group member who has requested to join your live video by tapping the button and then approving it. So Tom, try to see if you can send me a request. There should be a button that looks like people, and see if you can click that and see if the request comes through. Like I can add Sheila. I'm not going to put Sheila on the spot like that. But Henio, it's saying add. I click add, and it says they'll receive an invite from you. So I click that, and it says adding on the top of my screen. Like it's sending you a request to come on. But once I do that, I can't add anybody else. So it looks like you can only add one person at a time. So, Tom, you should try to see if you can do it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get started without you. I got this in the mail today. My We the People patch for my bulletproof vest. Pretty happy about that. I'm waiting on a couple more. Let's see if I can do it from here. Liked. Okay. They wouldn't understand me anyway with my southern accent. Oh, that's funny. It is pretty sick, isn't it? I love it. It's awesome. No, cancel. Don't want to do that. Ugh. Yeah, see, it just says Mike and Marlene Hopper is watching. Bring them on camera. There should be a button on the bottom that looks like a bunch of people. You should click that. I'm getting We the People tattooed on my throat. Bum, bum, bum. That is pretty cool to get it on your throat, though. Because there's only one way to get it off. Yeah, and see, Danny Marie is watching. Bring them on camera. But then when Ryan just joined, it said it didn't give me the option to bring him on. This is stupid. I hate Facebook. I hate you, Facebook. They knew that me and Tom were talking in message. So now they're not going to let me invite him. Excited. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it's not even letting me do it on my phone either. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to go without Tom if he's not able to send me a request. Unfortunately. This was the whole point of today, was that Tom was gonna join us. Facebook for you. We can go to YouTube. We could. We can go live on YouTube and then just share it to the Facebook page. That'll work. Let me see. I don't know if I'm allowed to go live on Facebook yet. Let's see. Go live. Your channel does not meet our updated eligibility requirements. Tom's calling me again. I'll be right back, guys.
I'll go live on Facebook yet.
What's up, Tom?
What's going on, man?
I don't know.
I think they heard us.
Obviously.
They don't want this.
I wonder...
Channel does not meet updated
Nope,
eligibility
that doesn't work either.
Tom's calling.
I was going to try to... I'm going to try this. Let's see.
It might have been because I had you on my speaker.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here's Tom, everybody. I guess we can work it like that. Boom. There we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. I mean, if you want to go to the YouTube and do it that way, I mean it's up to you.
It won't let me go on YouTube, but I can actually hear you through my phone, and I can hear you into the speaker, so everyone might not be able to see you, but I will be able to, and they'll be able to hear you, so that'll work.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Can everybody hear Tom?
I'm going to go ahead. All right. I'm trying to cut your live feed here.
I'll
There
just.
we go. I should be able to do it that way, though.
Can everyone hear Tom? Somebody say yes.
Myself.
Anybody? I'm pretty sure you can, because I can hear him. For the most part, Tanner says. That's perfect. For the most part, it's good enough for me.
Sweet.
All right. There we go. And I'll just... My microphone is... All right. Awesome. So, what's up, Tom? How's it going?
Not too much, man. Hopefully we don't get too much of a feedback here.
I don't hear any. I'm glad you put your headphones on, because then only you'll hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, it seems like it's delayed a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm on Wi-Fi and stuff. I don't have hardwire.
I think it's probably just because we're going through the video. So, all right. So let's see. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about you.
Pretty much just a regular guy, doing my own due diligence, living life, trying to survive through the chaos, trying to help anybody along the way, play games, guitar, just the usual stuff.
Roland plays
music,
guitar.
Try to get my music out there.
Our buddy Roland plays guitar. That
Good.
comes on here too. All right.
Nice.
So,
It's always nice when you do guitars.
tell everybody your band name so they know who to look for.
Bodies and Barbed Wire.
Bodies
You
in
can
Barbed
find it
Wire.
on bodiesandbarbedwire.com.
Bodiesandbarbedwire.com. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So, what you made some notes today. What did you make some notes on?
Well, it depends on how deep you really want to go. I mean, we could just touch on some stuff. I mean, a lot of this kind of ties into everything, really. It can go from one topic to the next and have some kind of connection. So,
I love rabbit
what
holes.
you got on your plate? What did you...
Well, actually, I was listening to a couple videos, and I have some pretty crazy stuff that I didn't really know, even though I like to believe that I'm a conspiracy theorist. Some stuff I really didn't know, and so I took some pretty good notes too. So I'll open the floor to you, though. We'll go from whatever topic. I love rabbit holes, so whatever you have to say, we can talk about it.
Well, I didn't really, per se, have just, like, topic-wise. I did stuff like a lot of people with the Bill Gates and the depopulation stuff that a lot of people talk about. There's a lot of things circulating with that, and people trying to, hack his accounts and all that, trying to get information.
Good.
I mean, when you hear a lot of people say those kind of things live, on stage and laughing about it, and the crowd kind of sends you kind of a chill that people would kind of be like that and, be completely different. So,
Right.
but, depopulation, he was real specific on that. And, and he started mentioning a little bit of thing with mosquitoes, tie or play. So,
It's crazy.
A lot of the times they, if you look into the foods, like I always tell everybody, not to look in, the ingredients, what's in your foods, because there's a lot of crazy stuff in there that you would actually find not healthy for humans. But
No, it's not.
sometimes people aren't aware of these things. So,
Right.
yeah.
And it's awesome that they force them to start labeling GMOs, but the problem is they put it so small on the box, and people really don't care. Like, you like your Lucky Charms, you like your Lucky Charms. It doesn't matter if it tells you that it's produced with how does it word it? I forgot how it words it exactly, and I don't have anything here. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they have some kind of high grade degreaser or something in it. I'm trying to remember the name of it myself.
No, I'm just talking about how they word it. Like, it'll say partially manufactured with modified something. I don't know. I don't remember how it reads.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I got some stuff here. And when it comes to bugging out...
He was the one. Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead. RFK Jr., he ended up going and winning a huge lawsuit against Monsanto with that. And there was a lot of, politics with it trying to prevent labeling because they knew it was going to hurt the food industry in one way or another.
Right.
So a lot of the companies started jumping on board with the organic stuff like that. So, once you start researching that and start seeing what's in your foods, it's alarming. Kind of messes with you a little bit because it's like, man, I've been eating this for years,
Right.
and everybody else is eating it, not realizing some of this stuff.
Well, the thing is it's not really going to hurt the food industry, because if you can label something organic, you can charge way more money for it.
Yeah, which comes into the marketing aspect of it all.
Right.
When it comes to like jingles and different things like that. And then with the labeling, they were afraid it was going to hurt the market, but that also gave them the opportunity to jump on the organic bandwagon, which was, kind of interesting because it's pushing them to actually produce, more clean foods.
Right.
I call them clean foods. Stuff with, that has less, like a lot of people say, don't count carbs, count chemicals. To live healthier in a better way. I'm no physician, but
right.
You
And
try to make a better decision on that.
and counting ingredients. Ingredients is an important thing. Just like I still have some of the food from the day when I was talking the prep talk, like the organic sauerkraut. Real sauerkraut doesn't have vinegar and stuff in it. Real sauerkraut, what they do is they take water and they take salt and they take cabbage and they put it in a jar and they let it ferment, and that's how it gets the sour taste, is because it's fermented. Well, that's another thing, is count your ingredients. Don't count, count chemicals for sure, but don't just count your ingredients. Ingredients: cabbage, water, salt, lactic acid. That's it. Nothing else. But you got even.
That's like when you look.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, even these,
sorry,
you got your pinto beans, ingredients: pinto beans, water, salt, calcium, disodium, EDTA, promotes color retention. There should be pinto beans and water in here. That's it. Corn, water, salt. See?
Yeah.
Corn, but this
That's
corn
like
is...
when you look up the ingredients. Sorry, go ahead. It's a little laggy.
No, it's okay. Maybe if we don't video chat, it might. Maybe if I just call. No, I don't know. Whatever. It's okay if it's laggy. If you, just talk.
No, I'll just go ahead and I'll start where I was saying. If you look at the ingredients and stuff of McDonald's French fries, and it goes in French fries, it should just basically be a potato. But they end up having, multiple ingredients, sometimes 15, 16 different ingredients in them. And,
Right.
What it takes to make a French fry is just a plain potato. It should have 14, 15 ingredients, and fire retardant, and these. That's why they end up turning into like packing peanuts. If you leave them sit out too long, they become hard. And looking up the guy who kept a hamburger in his pocket for over a year, then he pulled it out, and it looks pristine and perfect, like it was preserved, never aged, didn't mold. Like, I don't think that's really good to eat. Make that,
It's really funny because
choice. Should I really put?
I like the show Supernatural, and a lot of their episodes, what they do in the Supernatural show is like things that are actually seem like what's really going on. They have the one episode where Sam and Dean go and try to blow up the factory that's shipping all the vaccines out, because the vaccines are turning people into zombies. And then they have the one episode where the burger is turning people into zombies, and they're in the same season. The burgers are, what's in the burger is what's in the vaccine, and it's what's turning the people into zombies. And they're turning into mindless zombies, and they're eating so much they explode.
Yep, just like World War Z. There was another movie, I, Legend. I never seen the movie. I probably should have, but it just kind of lost entertainment value when it comes to movies and stuff like that after I started seeing other things. Some other things became a little more important than sitting down and watching a movie or, binging a show. No offense to anybody who likes to. I know that's, entertainment for people.
Right.
We're not all going to have the same likes and taste.
Right.
You kind of get looked at like you're kind of weird because you don't want to sit down and watch, an episode or a season of something. You'd rather try to, do more interaction, play guitar. I play games like VR, put up stuff on my YouTube for, different stuff.
Right, and it's I Am Legend. I posted about that one of the posts I posted today was around the same time back in 2014. I posted about I Am Legend and about how the vaccines turned the people into zombies, and then I turned. I posted a post today about another thing where Ebola, where they were shipping in, because Alex Jones was talking. That was back when I listened to Alex Jones, where they were shipping in those black things to put people's bodies in, and they back in 2014 they were talking about how the government had a patent on the Ebola virus, which comes back to now where the government has a patent on COVID-19 or the coronavirus. And it's actually kind of funny because I was just watching a video about how Anthony Fauci back in 2003 was helping to patent the coronavirus. And one of the guys was saying that the patent office, you can't patent something that's natural. And so either it's man-made or it's natural, because if it was natural, it's illegal to patent it. But if it's man-made, then it's legal to patent it. But then they were saying if it is legal and they put it out there, I mean, if it is man-made and they put it out there, then that goes against the codes and ethics or whatever the law is for that. And so then that becomes illegal.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. They make up the rules in their own way of doing things, and then they say there's things that are hindering them, but they're going along and just doing whatever anyway. When you look up those patents and you see the idea of what they're going for, and even like the patent on microwaves, you just look that up, and it shows you different frequencies and stuff and how it can affect people.
Right.
I think I used to watch Whale Wars when they used to go on those ships out in the international waters trying to save whales.
Oh, okay.
These other ships used to have what they call LRADs, like military technology that uses sound frequency and waves to mess with you. And that stuff's been around for a little while. That all just kind of ties in with that, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I want to look at something that Sam just said. Alan. Alan Parliament said, I heard of the secret ingredient in burgers and vaccines is genetically modified baby feces. Or something like that. And it's funny because that's why aborted babies is such a big business. And it's because just like they got caught with the video where they were talking to the lady and they were talking about how they sell the baby parts and stuff. And I wouldn't deny it. I mean, I wouldn't not deny it, but I wouldn't put it past them. Basically, I wouldn't. I could see that being true. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm going to send the link comments right now to the place called Cinemax or Cinemax. I'm trying to pronounce it properly.
Okay.
It's actually. It explains to you and tells you the whole thing about the aborted fetal cells and how they use them for flavor enhancers in a lot of foods. And sometimes you don't realize what you're eating, because that's what was nice about the Monsanto thing, where they sued them and RFK Jr. actually won that case. It was actually one of the biggest cases in U.S. history.
I used to
try to find it. I'll pin it in the.
One of the things that we were talking about is possibly going into religion. It's funny because I used to, like I have said before, I used to street preach. And I remember this one time I was street preaching, and we used to street preach in Monroe in Michigan, and it's down in the very south of Michigan. Well, Monroe in itself is kind of like a ghetto city, but everything around Monroe is country. And so you have a bunch of farmers and stuff, and this guy was walking down the street, and he goes, it's just weird that he knew what to say to get me irked. And it's like he was purposely put there to get me irked, because he goes, oh, I don't want to listen to what you have to say. My dad's a farmer for Monsanto, and we grow GMOs, and that's how we make our money. Like, why would you not want to hear about the Bible because your dad grows GMOs for Monsanto? It's like he purposely was put there to say something to bug me. Like, what does that have to do with the Bible or anything? It was crazy. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, yeah, you always got somebody trying to antagonize and do those kinds of things, and it's some people see it the way they see it, and do their thing. They have their own perception of what's going on, and a lot of people don't cross that threshold where you start seeing other things that kind of challenge your beliefs and your sense of, reality. Not to get too deep, but that stuff can be life changing. Your life can change in an instant of just one choice and just one little piece of that. And that's kind of the planting the seeds of truth and trying to get people to understand there's a lot more things out there than you just might be seeing. You just have to be willing to take that step to approach something new.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about is because we said religion, stuff like that, and it's funny how some religion and different things can all just tie in together. So, have you ever heard of the Sabbateans?
Slightly, yes. I think it might have been a post that you posted about it, actually.
Okay, yeah. I posted a video from Robert Seffer, and he talks about them a lot. And so what it is, and of course the year is just fun in itself, but in 1666, this guy came along named Sabbatai Zevi, and he claimed that he was the Messiah. He was Christ reincarnate, and it was in 1666. And so what he did was half of the population of Jews in the whole world, he got them all to follow him. It was like 500,000 Jewish people that followed him. And when he died, and basically what his religion taught was sin through redemption. Redemption through sin. So what he believed is the more you sinned, the better your chances of going to heaven. So what he says is you can't climb a mountain without starting at the bottom of the mountain. So if you're in the middle of the mountain, you have to climb down the mountain to climb up the mountain. So what he thought is if you defile yourself as much as you can, you have a better chance of God or Jesus saving you. And so when he died, a guy named Jacob Frank, who was also a Jewish guy, took over, and that's where Frankism came from. And it's funny because my friend, his last name is Frank, and his son's name is Jacob, so it's Jacob Frank. And we were joking around about Frankism, and I called him and I said, Frankism really exists, and the guy that invented it was named Jacob Frank. And he goes, oh man, that's crazy. I said, yeah, it's really crazy when you look into what they did and what they believed. And so they continued on the same thing. Well, that's where you get the modern day Illuminati from, is they came from Frankism. And it's funny because I've said this in my videos before, I have nothing against Jewish people, but unfortunately the elites are Jewish. And they come from this Sabbatai Zevi, they come from Frankism, and they're the ones that invented the Illuminati. And then you have people like Jeffrey Epstein. Well, what does Jeffrey Epstein have to do with Frankism and Sabbateans? Well, again, they believed that you had to defile yourself the worst way possible to be able to be redeemed. So basically, how it started. Back then, homosexuality wasn't a thing, so homosexuality was the thing that they got into. They were swingers, they were homosexuals, but they also were doing pedophilia back then. Well, now homosexuality is more like accepted and regular and everyday thing, and so now they're going into like murdering kids and into pedophilia. And so now you have Jeffrey Epstein, who's part of the Illuminati, who's part of the Frankism and the Sabbateans, and they're just doing the same thing now that they were doing back in the 1600s.
Yeah, that's what's kind of crazy, because it kind of starts going down you start going down the rabbit hole, and they start doing the whole flight logs, and it really starts to go into some different names, and names that are current people and stuff. It's quite interesting to see, but then it's kind of interesting to see everybody just kind of turned away like that. Just those names weren't there, and it's different. There's a lot of mysterious surrounding that. Maximum security prison, federal prison, weird stuff happened. Nobody knows what happened. And then it's kind of like it's just going to go away. It's just one of those things they put on the news. It's there, fades away. Now everybody's so wrapped up in the current events, they're hoping it's just going to fade out.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
it's crazy
Better
because
Will mention this year than any.
right. It's crazy too because what you were saying about binge watching shows and stuff, that's the reason that people don't want to believe who's on that list because it's their favorite actors and their favorite singers and stuff. And so they just don't want to hear it. Like my wife was like a huge Will Smith fan and she can't stand him now cuz he's on the list.
Yeah, that sucks because you grew up watching these guys, and his wholesome movies and TV shows, and give you those good feelings and those memories back when you were a kid. And then it ends up going that way. And you're like, wait a minute, like, kind of gives you a whole other setup where you really don't know what to think, but you want to hold on to the good things,
Right.
and then just say screw that if that person's like that.
Well,
So it's kind of like a judgmental thing.
and it's funny because, again, talking to Christians, there's Christians that love their TV shows and love their movies and stuff. Well, the Bible says a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So what he's saying is you put a little bit of leaven into bread, and it's leaven. And leaven is yeast. They have their holidays where they have to eat bread without yeast in it. Well, you put a little tiny bit of yeast in it, and it ruins the whole loaf of bread. And so basically what the Bible's saying is like you said, you like to hold on to those good memories and those good feelings, and you don't want to believe it, and you want to look past a little bit of bad stuff that they did. No more good memories. It's all bad. It's bad. Just throw the whole loaf away.
Yeah, because normally when there's mold on one piece, it's typically going throughout the rest of the bread, and you don't want to take that chance.
Right. Yep.
Have that. Bad's bad, good. We can't do the law of reversal and flip it upside down and start rolling that way.
Right. Or
like you said, it goes right back to that 17ism. But I heard that through David Icke.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Had some videos. I know he's been it's crazy and stuff, but you still go and you look at it because you want to see all the angles. You just don't want a degree of stuff. You kind of want the whole ratio instead of just taking this or that. You need to see the whole picture, and I think that's where a lot of people are kind of missing the point of a lot of things.
Right. Yep. So what else do you got for us? We'll beat all these horses till they're dead.
Yeah, I think they've been beat already. They're just waiting for them to fade out and go away.
Right. It's not going to. Not with me here, and not with you
it's
here.
all in your face. This isn't, nothing. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't talking. I was drinking some water.
Oh, my bad. Okay. I don't know. The right to say no. I've been looking at that for a while and seeing, the world we once grew up in, having the rights, and everybody's, for country and freedom, and everybody doing the whole American patriotic, which is beautiful. Everybody should do that. As an American, you have an obligation to keep those rights so they don't become, yesterday's news. But the right to say no, you have human rights under international law, and you have the right to consent. And that's the Universal Declaration of Bioethics and Human Rights. It's an international law. So
Right.
I'll also pin that comments, too, for people to check out if they want to check that out as well.
Yeah, the International Law of Bioethics. That's the one I was talking about, where they said that if the coronavirus that Fauci patented or whatever that the CDC patented was man-made, then that's what it goes against. And it's unfortunate that the government owns patents to all these sicknesses that just magically come out of nowhere, and all the sheep believe it, and they go out and get the vaccinations and stuff. Like, they own the rights to the news talking about it, anything that has to do with it. That's what they own, and it's crazy. And it goes against. They spread these diseases so that they can make money off of. they spread the disease so they can make money off of people. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. I'm thinking about what my wife just texted me.
Oh, you're good, man. No worries. Gotta get that family first.
No, she's texting me to tell me to hold my phone up again so people can see you. I already did that. This is Tom again, everybody. I was trying to prop my phone up so everybody could see you, but it wasn't working. Yes, the treatments, Roland. Thank you. They invent the disease so that they can get paid off the treatments as well.
Yeah, you can't make money on healthy people.
Right.
If you have healthy people and people are far healthier, you don't have any business.
Right.
So
yep.
It has a lot to do with marketing and the aspect of profit, which kind of sucks. Like Jesus always preached against money, and a lot of people are like, I got to be rich and have the money, and it kind of comes down to really seeing what he preached, and kind of take that as kind of a literal. So.
The problem is that the elites don't care about what Jesus had to say. Most of them are Jewish and they don't even believe Jesus existed.
Exactly, because he did something in one human life that no one ever did. He was kind of considered the blasphemer,
right?
Because he was proclaiming a lot of things that nobody ever had the will and strength to ever do. And they just, I feel they didn't know what to do.
Right.
It was just something new to them, and they got together and tried to figure out what were they going to do about it. This is kind of turning things in a different time.
Yes, Tanner's saying "order out of chaos" is a Masonic term. I know that. That I had that as my status. I had that as my bio for this page for a while, and it was out of chaos comes conspiracy theories, and so it was like my spin on their term. And then Sam says, and now they want 7 billion vaccines all paid for by the government. And it's funny because I covered that too in one of my videos, how all these guys were given millions and millions of dollars. And my thought at first was that why would Bill Gates give a bunch of money? And again, it's because he's a businessman. He's going to make money off of the vaccine when people go out and get it because he's a stock market player. But then I found out that they were giving it away for free, and it just made it even worse for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're giving it away for free after they put all this money into it? There's something behind this. It's not just charity. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart, especially from what you said earlier, that he wants 500,000 people in the world. He's made that clear, and he, like you said, he laughed about it. He thought it was funny. Yeah, if we do a good job on vaccines and we increase the vaccines about 10 to 15%, we can get the population down to 500,000. Are you kidding me? And then you're going to go get your free vaccine like, oh, Bill Gates loves us. It's like when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to your house and they say 144,000 people are going to heaven. I always mess with them and say, I'm going to be one of the 144,000. Are you going to be one of the 500,000 that makes it through Bill Gates' vaccine? I know I am because I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do when you start seeing that? It like starts putting your existence into perspective, and it just doesn't look good.
It's crazy because if you
somebody to come out on stage, a huge crowd like that, and then everybody laugh about these things when he's talking about one of those numbers, particularly have to get close to zero. And when he starts talking about population and using vaccines, contraceptives, birth controls type stuff like that, it paints a whole other picture of what's going on above you. The left hand don't know what the right hand's doing.
Right. It's crazy because I'm going to put this into perspective for anybody that hasn't thought about this. I've tried to put this in perspective before with how many people are in America compared to how many people are in the world. It's 1/20th. America is 1/20th of the world. But I'm going to put this into perspective. Bill Gates wants there to be 500,000 people, okay? Detroit, Michigan has 800,000 people there. So literally you would have to wipe out the whole entire world and then still 300,000 people just in Detroit. Just to make 500,000 people. That's nuts in itself.
Yeah, Georgia Guidestones and stuff, and a lot of that, a lot of what's written on there, it kind of falls into line with that.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting.
It's crazy.
I mean, a lot of this is just public record. You could find a lot of this. You could go down, and look up the certain avenues going to lead you to certain parts of the town, just like information. It leads you to them certain avenues, and then you start going down that road, and you're like, oh man, never seen this before, and it starts becoming just a slight more of a reality.
Right.
You don't want to see none of this happen. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, have all these problems and issues. You want to tell somebody that, hey, there's a warning, and there's bleach in your cup. I'm going to tell you before you drink it. It might be your right to drink it, but that doesn't mean it's it's a good thing to do.
Right. It'll clean you out.
That's what I've been just trying to paint people. Yeah.
The bleach will get you clean.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, if science today told you what it was, what it did.
Right.
Come on, we have generation eating Tide Pods, and we have to put, do not eat on the side of paint cans and stuff.
It's crazy. I was starting to get cold. I had to put a hoodie on.
Oh, you're good.
So,
pretty good tonight.
So Tom wants you guys to know that you have the right to say no. You don't have to take Bill Gates' vaccine. And Sheila says, may Bill Gates' dogs that has fleas on their ass infect his crotch. So that's good. It's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and maybe it was today. I think I was talking to James, and no, it wasn't James. It was somebody else. Anyway, somebody said something like, kill them all. We were talking about communists in China coming into our country and trying to take over, because one of the places that they're saying that they're going to come is Michigan. And he said, kill them all and let God sort them out. And I said, kill them all and let the devil sort them out.
Gonna have to. Somebody's got to keep tally of them, right?
Right.
I don't know. That's like, a lot of paint me as kind of like an anti-vax and stuff. And I'm, furthest from it. I believe in vaccines that could be beneficial and help people, but you can't do that with kind of, what's in the inserts and stuff.
Right.
Because there was a doctor in Oregon that got his license revoked because he was doing informed consent. He had two plans. He had the CDC plan and all that, and showed them before the vaccinations of your child, what they are and what's going on. And then he had the plan 2, where he showed that, you can separate them out and do a different way of going about it. Even though they still got vaccines and they got vaccinated, they separated them out and seen a lot less health issues amongst that.
Right.
James Weiler come out with something along the lines of a study against vaccinated and unvaccinated, and they ended up using that data that they got from his practice, then actually ran a peer-reviewed trial, took the data and got it peer-reviewed. And it shows a different story, and it looks like it's hope that people might actually get the help they need, but it also shows a lot of the side effects that come along, and the data is, it's left to right. It's completely different on one side than it is the other.
Right.
The vaccinated plan showed that had issues and things can be contributed. They even found out that anemia can be contributed to vaccines.
Right.
Allergies and things like that. Like those can be considered being damages.
Right.
Same thing with food allergies.
Yeah.
Autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, and that's that HRSA. If you guys want to check it out, HRSA.gov. It's the vaccine injury website that the U.S. government has. And I was reading the stuff the one day where basically they were telling you the reason that they have it set up is for when you get these food allergies, what Tom's talking about, when you get anemia, when you get these diseases that they cause, they're paying money out. And like I said, they've paid out over $4 billion already just since 2018. And that's our government. They're still not saying that vaccines cause autism, but they are saying that vaccines do cause injury, and they're paying you money. And like I said, what they're what they're thinking is if they set an amount of money that they're going to give you, you'll just shut up and take the money, and then you won't sue them. And it says it right in the World Health Organization PDF that I shared on the one video, and I'll share it again in this one if I have to. That way you guys will read it. But you don't even have to read the whole 15-page PDF. Just read the conclusion, and you'll see exactly what I'm telling you, that they're saying it's cheaper for us to pay you to shut up than if you sue us and you win in court. So we're just going to go ahead and accept that vaccines cause injury, and these are the certain ones, and we're going to pay you money to shut up.
Yeah, that's the scariest thing about it, because it's kind of like that Vegas gamble. You know, you get the vaccine and then have a side effect afterwards, and then they just want to completely deny that the vaccine had anything to do with it.
Right.
And that's kind of alarming, because you have to, contribute into that. You have to factor it in. If you just literally took it, you were fine before, now all of a sudden you're having issues after it. You not going to deny reality that just happened. Like, you got to have to start getting real with yourself and use some common sense. That definitely is a factor. It has to factor in. But it's always just taboo to just whatever, get your kids in school, And a lot of people are afraid of the consequences of that, or look up how, you might be able to protect yourself from it. Because I've thought about it a lot. My son being himself one day, and then just all of a sudden not being the same kid again. And that, within you, that's terrifying, because you want to have your kid healthy and, beautiful, playing and laughing.
Right.
And there's a lot of kids out there that ended up, going down different avenues, and you want to do the best you can to try to help people.
We have one.
So that doesn't happen and things like that. So.
Yeah, we have 8.
I love your family. You have a beautiful family, by the way. It's
Thank
awesome.
you. I appreciate it.
I love the family setting and the things you guys do together. I think that's so.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we are completely anti-vax. We're not like Tom. We are completely anti-vax. We have a son with autism, and the vaccines caused his autism. It might have not been the MMR. It might have been the DTaP. But we believe that that's what caused his autism, and he completely changed overnight. So we don't do vaccines at all. We are anti-vax. We're the taboo that Tom's talking about. We accept it.
That's why I speak up and stuff, because I fear that people would have to go through something like that, because I can't imagine the pain itself to have, one day.
I'll be back in a second. Keep talking.
Somebody completely different besides you. No, you're good. So. It is. So that's why, a lot of the times I started saying, well, something's obviously wrong here. Try to do the best you can to try to inform people, at least, with what you can find, what you have, and in hopes that, these traumatic things and health issues, don't come about to people and children. Because with the way things are going, it's looking like everybody's going to have to get a vaccine every month, or not month, but every year or so.
Right.
Excuse me.
Just like the flu.
Yeah, which makes you think, like, they give nothing else away for free. They don't give any cancer treatment, chemos, or nothing like that for free. But then when it comes down to the flu shot, come get it, come get it, come get it. But RFK Jr. has great things on that. Just look him up. He has some great stuff.
Yeah, he's anti-vax.
He knows the literature. He knows the data.
We like RFK because he's anti-vax.
But that's why I said, like, I'm not anti-vax, because I can believe in good vaccines without the extra stuff in it, like the aluminum and the shedding process, and why they use aluminum.
Yep.
The aluminum that they use isn't like regular aluminum, so and that breaks the blood-brain barrier and ends up going into the brain. And the 3 main causes of dementia, Alzheimer's, and autism is heavy metals in the brain. There's a couple of doctors, I guess, that were working with things and basically reversing it using detox processes. But I don't know how far exactly that went, because there's been a lot of like holistic doctors like going out and trying to talk about a lot of things like that. Shit.
Yeah, and they say that the detox from heavy metals is really dangerous because we were going to try. It's really funny. I was going to say this earlier, but I just shut up and let you keep talking. Isn't it weird how a lot of the holistic doctors are chiropractors? Like, what? Why is it that chiropractors are the holistic doctors? Like, you watch these famous holistic doctors, and usually they're a chiropractor. What makes that happen?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Right?
See, it's like there's a lot of people, kind of like anti-doctor and stuff too. You're like, you can believe in good doctors. I mean, there's always good people out there that really do mean well, but you just got to watch out for the ones that fake that. You're just not another customer.
Yeah, we were gonna try. I forgot. It's like key something when you cleanse the heavy metals, and they do it with your feet. We were gonna try it with our son, but my wife was scared because they were saying like heavy metal cleansing is dangerous because now you're pulling all these heavy metals back out of your body. Chelation, I think it's called, or something. But it's pretty crazy, and I believe that that's exactly what it is. But yeah. I think that just like you said, that heavy metal is what causes the autism, and it's in your brain. And it's funny because our son's 17 and he's never had a like a MRI or like a brain scan or whatever, and they were supposed to do one for us, and then this Corona crap hit, and so now obviously everything's closed down. And my wife even told them. They said, hey, we want to have Sean come in and get checked up or whatever. And she's like, well, we're not wearing a mask, and you're not going to be able to get him to wear a mask because he's got autism. And they're like, oh, no, that's okay. Yeah. We don't force him to wear a mask. And then they called back like 5 minutes later, and they said, oh, it's okay. The doctor will just call you and talk to you over the phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like I've been trying to tell people. It's like as long as the business supports the community and what they want to do, support that business. There's a lot of the states and the businesses. They kind of got them by the balls per se, because they got a license with the state to work.
Right.
And operate in their state. When they try to flip around on that and try to say, well, I'm going to help the community because the community's suffering because of these things. Which helps the state too. They revoke their license. And I think that's where a lot of companies are right now, because that's going to come up too with a lot of people are going to have to use and take the vaccines and use masks, which a lot of people believe different things on it. I got enough reviews and stuff that I've seen that it's dangerous, really.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty stupid that we've allowed the government to overstep this far, that you have to have a license to run a business, and you have to have a license to fish and a license to hunt. And it's funny because natives don't, and it's because obviously they're native to this land, but what makes them as people different than us as people? Why should we allow the government to make us get a license to drive a car, to own a business, to hunt, to fish? No, I'm just trying to survive here. I don't need your approval to survive. I mean, I know you want to kill me, but I don't need your approval to survive. Like a driver's license. A driver's license, see, this is what they do is they do things a little at a time. So like a driver's license. A driver's license was invented. I have a CDL, so a driver's license was invented for people like me that have a CDL. So what their thought was is, if we make these guys that drive these trucks get a driver's license, then they're going to have to pay us to have a license, and that way they can pay for the roads that their trucks are ruining. And then that worked out good, and they're like, oh, maybe we can get all the idiots to do it, and here we are.
That always stems back to the whole controlling. Everything goes to the bottom line control.
Right.
You can't have free and control at the same time. It kind of contradicts itself.
Right.
But you still That's like a lot of people say that could label. That's kind of the issue with the whole labeling thing. I'm pretty much more of a critic and analyst. I don't you could label people conspiracy or whatever, but I like to be a critic more than anything.
Right.
I'm not too professional when it comes to stuff. And going into that professional realm, you kind of lose a piece of yourself. I don't want to lose a piece of myself to try to get people to understand something.
Right.
It's cool with the professional thing, and nothing against anybody who wants to do it. But yeah, I'm not anti-government. I believe in some form of something.
Right.
But not so much to the point to where it really strangles your entire life out. Can't be free. Just do your job as intended. You're typically, by definition, a public servant. You get elected, just represent the people.
Right.
That's all anybody ever asks. We don't want to have to fight fights and go through all that process. Live free, be happy. You love your life, I love my life.
Right.
Harmony.
I'm a patriot. I love the government. I love government too. I just don't specifically like our government. And it's not the way it's set up or anything like that. I just showed you guys my constitutional tattoo. I like the way that the government's set up. I just don't like the way it's run. And so it's the people. It's not the thing, it's the people. It's just like police officers. You have good police, you have bad police. You have good firefighters, you have bad firefighters. Like our firefighters. You go talk to some of them and they're nice, and then you talk to other ones and they have a big head because they're a firefighter and they feel like they're special or something. And it's like, yeah, I mean, what you do is cool and thanks for doing it and everything, but you're not better than anybody else. The guy that picks up the garbage is just...
use their merit as some kind of, smart status.
Right. The guy that picks up the garbage is probably just as, if not more, needed than you are, because you put out a fire however often, while the garbage guy comes and picks my garbage up once a week, or else I'm going to have rats at my house.
Yeah, that's when it comes back to the old age, is intelligence or is education.
Right.
And both can be good if used right. Anything, as long as it's used right and you use it in good means, it could be a good thing. But sometimes people take those good things and ended up using them for bad, and you're kind of stuck with the consequence and trying to fix the situation now.
Right.
Where you go from here when they get everybody divided about things. So I agree with you.
So do you know who Jack Parson is?
I've heard the name.
Okay. You know who L. Ron Hubbard is, right?
Teach me. I'm always willing to learn. Yes, I know the name.
Okay. L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of Scientology.
Scientology, right?
Yep. So I'm gonna school you guys on something that I just learned today from a Robert Seffer video. Okay. I hope you guys are ready for this. So, there's this guy named Jack Parson, and let me just read my notes. Nazi rocket scientist was the head. What the heck? Okay, so Werner von Braun is a Nazi rocket scientist that was the head of NASA, and he reverenced a follower of Aleister Crowley named Jack Parson. So Jack Parson was a follower of Aleister Crowley, and called him the father of American rocketry. Huh?
He was a Crowleyite, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he called him the father of American rocketry for his invention of a certain rocket fuel. So there's this guy, Jack Parson, that was a chemist, an alchemist, and he invented this certain kind of rocket fuel and worked with... And I put the note on the Werner von Braun guy because it was just interesting that they took this Nazi rocket scientist and made him the head of NASA. Anyway, so beyond that... but yes, Jack Parson worked with this Nazi rocket scientist. He was reverenced by him, and he was a follower of Aleister Crowley. So this is where it gets into it. L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of the Church of Scientology. Just so you guys know, he was in the Navy and he was in naval intelligence, and it was his job to study MK Ultra. Well, MK stands for mind control. It's just a German word for mind control. So MK Ultra, and so L. Ron Hubbard's job was to study mind control, and he was a roommate with Jack Parson, and and Aleister Crowley said. It was L. Ron Hubbard said that he was roommates with Parson and that he was a great friend of Aleister Crowley. So L. Ron Hubbard, the guy that invented this Christian religion, was good friends with Aleister Crowley. And they said that L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parson would have orgies when they were roommates together. And so the reason I made this note about the Sabbatai Zevi and the Franks and the Illuminati is because, and about Epstein, is it goes back to that again, that they have to utterly degrade themselves, which is what's in common with all those other people. And it's just crazy that this guy that invents this church, this religion, this Christian religion, was good friends with Aleister Crowley and Jack Parson, who was a follower of Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, just like LaVey and the American Forbes and stuff like that. With the Church of Satan and all that. When he started, westernizing the whole thing. But a lot of them stated that he left on his deathbed and he messed up. So I don't know how far that goes, but like you said, the nature of the show, it's just one of those things. You're not quite sure.
Yeah, it's funny. I studied Anton LaVey a little bit, and what he says, it's really funny because he calls it Satanism, but what he says is that he doesn't believe in a literal devil, and they call it Satanism mocking. But it's funny because they say Hail Satan and all this stuff, because I know a guy that's a Satanist. I worked with him, and they say Hail Satan, and they have a special day. The most important holiday in Satanism is your birthday, and then the second most important holiday in Satanism is Anton LaVey's birthday.
Yeah, Walpurgis and stuff. April 7th, 26th. Yeah, it's kind of like a self-religion, pretty much.
Right.
It's just kind of worshiping self and thinking, you're your creator and all that. But they kind of don't see the idea of where's your consciousness come from.
Well, it's funny because that's
technically your meat back your body.
That's what Scientology believes, is that you are your own creator. So they believe that like 70 million years ago or something, that people just thought themselves into existence.
Yeah, that's kind of like the age-old question of what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Right.
The book or the God,
Right.
There was a video that I used to have a while back that kind of, touched on that subject and kind of brought a lot of different ideas to the table. You're like, kind of makes you think a little bit. That's what you need to do. You need to confront yourself with things that are going to make you think and kind of come to your own conclusions.
It's fun. It's funny because I don't remember who it was, but what somebody was saying, I think it was what's his name? They call him the Dino Doctor. He's a Christian pastor that went to prison for tax evasion. And I can't think of his name. They call him the Dino Doctor. Kent Hovind, that's his name. Kent Hovind. He's a creation scientist, and Kent Hovind is like the ultimate, like, why church and state should be separated, just so you guys know. So what happened with Kent Hovind, I'll just put this out there real quick. So we believe, the church, even when we went to church, we believed in separation of church and state. Well, all these churches, again, they go and join the state by getting a 501c3 tax-exempt status, and they join up to the state, and then the state is allowed to limit what they can say. They're not allowed to endorse candidates. They're not allowed to talk about like what's pop culture, not pop culture is not the word I'm thinking of, but current events they're not allowed to talk about. So like if the current event is homosexuality, they're not allowed to say, hey, the Bible says that homosexuality is bad. So they basically are giving up their right to say what they want to say. So what happened is that Kent Hovind realized this, and he had a church and a school. And what he did was he took his 501c3 status away from his church and got rid of it and continued the school and was paying cash to the teachers at the school. And one of them went and filed their taxes as a W-2 employee instead of as a 1099 employee. Something happened and they put him in prison for like 10 years for tax evasion. And it was because he took that 501c3 status that they gave him and got rid of it. But anyways, the point that I was making, though, is that I believe it was him. He used to say he would ask people like, "So how did the world get here?" Well, the Big Bang Theory. Okay, where did that come from? Well, two atoms split or whatever. Okay, where did those come from? Well, they came from here. Okay, well, where did that come from? And he would just keep doing that. Okay, where'd that come from? Okay, where'd that come from? And it's like, eventually you have to get down to it, is that even if you don't believe in God, even if we are our own creators, how did everything get here? Where did it come from? If you don't have to believe in a God or a certain God or whatever you don't want, but there has to, something had to have started and created everything. It's just impossible for it to not. Even if the Big Bang Theory is what caused the Earth to be here, what caused the stuff? Where did the stuff come from that caused the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
And it goes back to
trying to explain it.
Right. And it goes back to the order out of chaos. It's like the Big Bang Theory. It's like it's the Masonic way. It's like order out of chaos. Yeah. The whole entire perfectly circle world, or whatever you want to believe, even if you believe in the flat earth, it's still a perfect circle. It's just a flat circle, but it came out of nowhere. It came out of
yeah.
Look at the craters in the moon, or not. That's not even a good example. Like, crash two cars into each other and see if they're a perfect shape when you're done.
True. Yeah.
But that's just me.
It's the whole purpose of perfectly symmetrical. Excuse me.
Sam says it takes more faith to believe it was all an accident than to believe in a creator. Hey, I'm not going to be mad at anybody for believing what they believe. You don't have to always believe. I told you guys at the very beginning of this whole thing, I want you to take what I say and study it and prove that I'm wrong. I would rather you prove me wrong. Then I know that you're not just blindly following me like Christians blindly follow their pastors.
Yeah, go look at it for yourself. You're right, and I think that's what a lot of people should do, because it's once you start going through it and start seeing things, it's kind of almost like a mystery novel. It's almost like playing Scooby-Doo almost. It starts to become interesting. And you start getting a newfound interest for something, but it actually is a part of your reality, your real world, and things that you're a part of every day.
Right.
And whether you see your life as wake up, work, car, house, family, the step process of what you're born into. Kind of looking at it, and it starts looking. Life starts tasting a little bit different after you start seeing these different things and start understanding a little bit of what life is about, rather than just getting told what your life should be. Kind of opens your mind a little bit. You got to have an open mind to it. So I agree. You're right. People don't listen to it. Don't believe what we say. Just go out and try to look it up yourself. Do the best you can, because there's a lot of censorship. Stuff's being wiped off the net to try to find it, and through the use of censorship and Google stuff, censoring stuff, burying it into the search engines. So study.
What is the other word, censor? There's censor, censor, but then there's the other word censor. Isn't it like a word for a sword?
I don't know. I never took out the Latin word.
But it's spelled different. Oops. Not antonym, synonym.
Which started making me going down the hole of like checking out Latin root words, stuff like that. Like look up media.
Yes.
Media is an interesting word.
That's what me and my friend Eric, the one I was saying about the Frankism, and he's got the son named Jacob. Me and him, that's what we do all the time. We just talk to each other. Like we were just talking the other day. I told him, like, an evergreen tree. Okay, why is it called an evergreen tree? Because it stays green forever. And then I said, I went more off of it than that because he's the one that actually, I said, why do they call it an evergreen tree? He said, because it stays green forever. And I said, forever? And I said, that's funny. Forever. Fir is a Christmas tree and evergreen tree is a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But that's how we talk to each other. But yeah, I think that the word censor is if you spell it a different way, I think the word censor is a word for a sword, but I can't remember how to spell it though. Let me see if I can put this in. Censor sword. And see if I'm see how to spell it.
Yeah,
the
what
right
you're
way.
saying, like sometimes it the root word kind of makes a little more sense to the word itself. Sometimes there's words that look the same, but they're pronounced differently.
Right.
Like to live and live.
Yeah.
When you flip it around, it's, it spells evil, love.
Right.
If you turn love around,
Yeah, it spells
spell
evil.
it backwards.
Yep.
Spells evil.
Yep. Yep, I'm hip to that.
I mean, yeah. Eyes to see, man.
The reason I was saying that is because if the word censor, and like I said, it's not spelled the same, so I don't know, I don't remember how it's spelled, but if the word censor is another word for sword, it's kind of funny because by censoring something, and then if censor also means sword, but it's spelled differently, it's like they're taking a sword and destroying what was there by censoring it.
Okay.
But I don't think it's spelled
I
the
never do
same.
anything like that. That's why I like to learn off of other people, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're here for. Definitely learn other stuff off of everybody. Everybody has something to teach somebody,
Right.
You might have a key to somebody else's lock, so don't ever be afraid to express yourself and talk to people about things, even though it's hard sometimes. A lot of people kind of get that, like I said earlier, the taboo of being able to talk about politics, religion. Everything should be able to be talked about. It's just once you start going to that realm of censorship, then it's kind of hard to have those discussions. And now with the labeling and everybody's left or right or liberal or
Right.
anti or
Right.
once you start getting thrown under those banners, then it's kind of hard to discuss anything because people paint you, label you, and then write you off.
And I'm me personally, I'm not afraid to say anything anywhere I go. Like I said one time, I was talking about I was in the post office, which you're not even supposed to go in without a mask on, talking to people about how the coronavirus wasn't, it's either fake or it's not what it's played out to be. And that's what we were talking about. But let's see if this is the word.
Yeah. According to the CDC data, according to a lot of other data, meta-analysis of masks and things like that, and everybody try to use that old age, well, doctors wear it, you should be able to too, but they don't even wear it that much like that, and they do have to take breaks and things.
Right.
And it's not always good for you because you are kind of breathing into you're rebreathing into bacteria and things.
Right.
And if you have something in your throat, you're going to breathe in that bacteria to your throat. It's going to go to your lungs. You stop wearing the mask at home. You start getting a little bit healthier. Then you put your mask back on, and then it's starting to go. You're starting to recycle the process. And sometimes that can be, like I said, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. Just go try to do some lookup and some research. I can't tell you what's what. It's just some things that you see, some things you understand. But yeah, you should go look for it yourself.
Right.
For sure.
I agree. Yes, don't ever take my word for it. I would rather, like I said, I'd rather people look into what I'm saying and see if it's true or not. And I'm glad that actually some people actually do that, and they'll say, I had a couple people message me when I made the videos about martial law and stuff. I had a couple people message me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" or "Hey, what do you think about that?" And like I said, I'm glad. I don't want you to ever take my word for it. Study it out for yourself. Do your homework. Make sure I'm telling you the truth. But it's funny too. Not just root words, but like sword. What we like to do is anagrams. So sword, words, stuff like that. So finding words inside words. That's always fun too.
Yeah.
Like evil and devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's
lie.
Like the live and the lie, and the evil and love.
Yep.
The reversal of.
Yep. And then lie is in devil and evil. Lie. And that's another thing I like to do is politicians, if you guys haven't noticed.
Yeah. Well, that's like with believe. The word believe, too, has lie in the middle of it.
Yep.
And that's why sometimes words come like read between the lines.
Yeah, and that's what when my friend Eric, that's what he always says. What do you believe? What do you believe? He always says that. Yeah. Always. He has lie capitalized, and it's because a lot of what people believe they've been lied to, and they didn't study it out themselves. And that's like, why do you think there's so many denominations of Christianity, and they don't believe the same thing, but they use the same Bible? It's because they're told to believe something and they follow it without studying it for themselves. And it's because it all started with Catholicism. Catholicism told people that they were too stupid to study their Bible, and so they believed them. And here, and these religions are trying to get away from Catholicism, and they're basically just picking it up and starting picking up where they left off in Catholicism, that they're too stupid to study it out themselves. So just listen to what the pastor says.
Yeah, it seems that way, because I was born and raised Catholic myself. My parents did, tried to do the whole taking me to church and doing that, and the CCD and the Sunday schools and things. So I went through a little bit of that. I went to some kind of, some different Christian places. And it was different. I kind of took it as a learning experience. I wasn't sure, at the time to know what, or, just looking at everything, with I've studied a little bit of the darker sides, a little bit of the lighter side of things. Seeing some stuff on the darker, being able to see good and dark, and bad and light. There's a bit of a balance there. And looking at both sides, you try to find a lifestyle within, what is you? Because not everybody, like you said, not everybody will be the same, and not everybody, going to believe or agree on things. But we can at least still come in the middle to try to, meet some kind of middle ground to where everybody can just be happy with it.
Right.
Same thing with vaccines, man. Trying to get something healthy to where we can all be in the middle ground instead of just, it going the way it's going.
And I believe that they have the capability to make safe vaccines, but they just don't do it on purpose because, again, there's no money in somebody being healthy. It's just like what you were saying.
Look at Dr. Rife and the Rife machine.
Dr. Rife? Spell it.
I believe it's R-I-F-E.
Okay.
He used a type of device that he built himself using sound waves and frequencies. And he had a study where he had 32 cancer patients.
Yes. Yeah,
He
Robert
cured-
Seffer.
He cured like 30. Yeah, he
Robert.
cured like 30, and within about a month or so, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen that stuff in a little bit. A lot of this I'm kind of just rolling off my head. And then the other two that wasn't cured was cured at least like a couple weeks later.
Right.
But all 32 cancer patients were cured using his machine with vibrations and tones, being introduced to that on a daily. And with
it's
that
fun.
information and idea, it kind of makes you look at the current health system and kind of see what it is. Kind of sees a little bit of a broader light and spectrum to it.
Right.
You can see both sides instead of just strictly one side.
It's funny too because Robert Seffer covers him, and that's one of the things that he was talking about is that he was curing cancer, and it's not funny, but it's ironic. Him and Nikola Tesla. So the government wants you to think that these two guys are morons and that they don't know anything and they're stupid. And it's funny because, again, it's not funny, but it's ironic because they both died poor. And the government never actually accepted his machine that he made, even though he cured 32 people of cancer. But yeah, I learned about that listening to Robert Seffer too.
Yeah, that's just some stuff I stumbled upon, looking at different, health studies and different alternate things where history kind of wasn't there, or we weren't kind of taught those things through school. We were kind of just taught the typical way, the common society's way of doing things, and if you look outside that realm, you were considered, conspiracy theorists or whatever.
Right.
But there's always, I don't see the conspiracy theory community. I don't see that with, kind of looking up and kind of informing myself. It seems more like they're an independent research community that's trying to, analyze and dig through a lot of this to try to put it more in a little layman's terms for people to, to better grasp. Because the way it's set up, you're not meant to really see it. It's in your face, but it's not everybody sees that.
It's funny. I have it. I pulled it up while you were saying it, and I pulled it up, and it's funny because guess where he went to college at? I bet you can't guess. Try to guess. Just give it one.
Where'd he go to? One that comes to mind is Harvard.
No.
Harvard or Yale. Those are my two guesses.
No. It's more funny and ironic than that. So he went to Johns Hopkins University.
There it is. There's the link.
Yeah,
It is.
He went to Johns Hopkins, and yeah, his name is Royal. That's his first name. His name's Royal Raymond Rife.
Right.
He died in 1971. Was born in 1988. I mean,
Just
18.
like Tesla and his free energy, and a lot of the things he did. Like
Right.
somebody that was causing some good things for humanity, then broke, poor, you're done.
Yep, it's crazy that they. I could tell you guys a crazy story, but again, I don't know. I don't have any way to prove it. So you can take my word for it, or you cannot. It's up to you. But the church we used to go to, there was a guy that went there before we went there, so I never met him. But he lived in Toledo, and he invented a car that ran off water, and he went to the pastor of the church, and he said, "If I die, you know how I died." Well, he got into a one-car accident and died, and then the car that he invented that ran off water disappeared from his house.
That's like, was that the same guy who created the dune buggy that ran on water?
I'm not sure.
Like 60, 70 miles an hour?
I'm not sure. This
There
guy,
was another guy who did that with just water come out of your faucet. Same thing. It's crazy.
okay, yeah, I'm not sure. This, I don't even remember his name. Like I said, I never even met him, but the pastor was telling me. But then again, they also believed that because again they were an anti 501c3 church, and we would street preach and everything. This is the same church, and he did a freedom school. So one Thursday out of every month, we had a freedom school. So we would learn prepping. That's where I learned the prepping from. But we would learn like Constitution, law, different stuff like that. He would teach all that right out of the church. Well, the church caught on fire right around the same time that this guy got killed, died, I should say. And I'll tell you guys a term that I invented. What I say is, you know how like what somebody will say when somebody dies is that they kicked the bucket. I say somebody kicked their bucket for him. So somebody kicked his bucket for him. So that's what we'll say. But yeah, the church caught on fire, and they were anti-insurance and all that stuff, and so they had no insurance on the building, but they owned it free and clear. And the place caught on fire, and they said, "Oh, well, it was just a faulty wire." Well, the guy that put in the electricity in the church was one of the members, and he's a master electrician that is doing electrician work in the power plants for DTE. So he's working for Detroit Edison, putting power into their power plants, but he accidentally put this one plug wrong, and it caused the church to catch on fire.
Yeah, you would assume suspect. You know, I can't say everybody's perfect, but yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It's a factor. If it's a factor, you got to factor it in.
Daniel says he's going to start using my kick the bucket for him.
But just like, I'm always on the side of like, I'm not sure. I'm just looking at what's there, what's presented to you.
Right.
Yep. Suspect though, very suspect.
We need to figure out what the heck happened with this live video, and that way I can fix it for if anybody else wants to join up, because now everybody's going to be like, I'm not joining, because what happened to Tom is going to happen to me. So.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, I don't know. I've seen resistance on my page and stuff. A lot of my stuff don't get reaching out there. It still doesn't mean I stop. It might be on my end because they might have taken that ability away from me. There's a lot of pages and stuff that I watch myself that have a lot of these abilities taken away from them. They can't even log into their Google account. It's all their account, onto it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on like that. We've been saying it for years, and then when it started coming down and it started happening over, useless know-nothings, and it's like, oh, now I see. It's like, well, you gonna like realize that you didn't see it, now you do.
Right.
And that's the part of the learning process. Would like you to understand that. This stuff's actually happening. We're not just trying to be some crazy guy making up something off the top of our head because, that's just what we do for fun or whatever. We're
right.
Looking at everything that's presented to us.
A lot of the nationalist pages are getting shadow banned off YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff, and they're demonetizing them and kicking them off their platforms and stuff. And it's funny because nationalists aren't necessarily racist. It's actually funny because I watched a black nationalist and a white nationalist have a video chat like we were trying to have.
Yeah.
And they made a video together, and they both said, yeah, we want all the white people to live together. We want all the black people to live together. And they're like, we can get along. Everybody can get along. Just because you don't want people of a different skin color living by you doesn't mean you hate them. It just means you don't want them there. And these guys are friends with each other. One's black and one's white, and they both want their own people living by them. But YouTube finds that racist, and they take it off there and demonetize them and stuff. And that's just how I made a funny video, and it was me and my kids playing in the snow, and it said white people when it snows outside. It was just a funny joke, and I'm white, but I put it on TikTok, and it got shadow banned. I have 5 views on it, but I have 50,000 views on another video.
Yeah, they tried to ban me for, there was a post that said that this guy apparently cheated on his girlfriend, and said that for her retaliation, she got with his boss at his job slept with him and got him fired. So I simply stated, and I said, wow, just kind of poking fun, that, yeah, good thing girls aren't crazy, because I think that's kind of crazy to do to somebody. It's like, just cut your cord and walk away.
Right.
But she ended up doing that, and just because that good thing girls aren't crazy, question mark, they hit me with a bully strike and said that I was bullying people.
Wow.
It was almost instantaneous. I was like, I wasn't trying to bully nobody. It was kind of basically a question. It's kind of a statement in a way. I don't know. It was just messed up.
Yeah,
it might be my stuff, so I apologize. That might be my. Like I said, maybe we can go on YouTube one of these days, or I, get my ugly mug up there.
Right. Or we can do this. We could figure out a different way to do this. Anyway, we don't have to just do a live stream. But my wife got banned off Facebook because she went on something and said that we should bash their skulls or something. And it was like people fighting with each other. And she said something like, yeah, bash their skulls or something. And she got banned for 3 days for it.
They flagged me for something I posted 3 years ago of one of the metal bands I listened to, Lord Gore. They didn't like the album cover, and they waited 3 years to finally hit it with something. Because I guess they're going back that far,
right?
With their algorithms and whatnot. So a lot of my stuff and my memories pop up like they're not even there. It just says the big, content not available anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they told me that I can't They told me I can't monetize if I have theme music. So I was gonna have War Pigs be my theme song for every time I come in, but they told me I can't monetize if I do that, and I can't boost my posts either. Like if I wanted to boost the post to get more people to watch like a certain video or whatever, if I have music in it, it won't let me boost it.
Well, see, I thought about that before I came on here because I thought I was going to be on the video. I put in the background like one of the pictures I took in a game because I knew if I would have put up like some music or something, and I didn't know where you were going to put this. Sometimes the privacy policies will hit it with a strike if you have something like that. They only let you limit your reach. So that's why I made sure I put something in the background that wasn't going to be copy strike or anything like that for you, just in case you decided to. I got the background of the game Call of Cthulhu. It's a bookshelf, and it says right there on the side, it says on the one book that it has, there's just one book that has something written on it, on the whole section, and it says "In the Mouth of Madness." And I thought that was kind of a theme for modern day.
Right.
I thought it was pretty relevant.
There, now you guys can see. Except for hold on, let me turn this TV off. There we go. Boom. There's Tom and his bookshelf behind them.
Yep.
I got Tom sitting under the microphone so you guys can hear him. Oh, man.
Got to do what we got to do, man.
Tanner, you can invite anybody that you want to this page. The more the merrier. That's how we figure. And hopefully one of these. Go ahead.
Good. Sorry. That's why, when I first seen the page, I commented on it. I was like, you probably shouldn't put conspiracy with that stuff. And you were like, no, that would get flagged and this and this.
Right.
And that's kind of where I started, page, started finding it. Because I was like, yeah, this looks like something I could really get into.
Right.
Learn different things. I'm sure there would be things that you were talking about, like giants and stuff. Like, I know a little bit about giants and whatnot, but, there's always sometimes you listen to somebody else, give their sides and, their research, and then you start learning a lot more about it. You're like, oh, okay, that's where that pieces together. It's just one big puzzle.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. I really liked you did something. I started to get really intrigued. You were talking about like Bigfoot and stuff,
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff you weren't afraid to, and I admire that because a lot of people were afraid to to say anything about anything these days. They all self-censor themselves. And it's kind of how it's designed,
Right. Yeah, I don't get banned. I don't get banned from Facebook, but I do say what I want to say. We'll just put it that way. But You know, it's funny because
That's why I said I admired that.
that's how James started following me. James loves when I tell his story. My original bio was I cover conspiracies in a like a comedy format or whatever. And James came on there and he's like, he said something like, "Of course you do," or something. I don't know. He said something and he flipped out on me, and I was like, it kind of sucks because me and you seem like we would get along normally. And he went through and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just said something before I even looked. I'm sorry." And now we're friends on Facebook and I chat with him on Messenger and stuff like that. And he always shares our stuff just like you do. And it's funny because he started out the same way. He was pissed because of how I had it. That's why I changed it. I didn't want people to think that I was making fun of conspiracy theories because that's not what it was. I make fun of I more make fun of the conspiracy in itself, like how stupid things are. So that's what I was making fun of. I don't make fun of conspiracy theorists. So, or truthers, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
But again,
I completely got what you were saying and stuff. Yeah.
I can't.
said more of like an independent research community.
Right.
Conspiracy theory. You know, that's where they get a lot of people, discredit a lot of people. They just throw the banner out there and then just, you're thrown off to the side.
Yeah, that's and like I said, like I told you, and it is what it is. But yeah, the reason I call it conspiracy theories is just like Tom was saying, is because I don't want to get banned, and so if they look at it as I'm telling you that it's a conspiracy theory, then my thought is that I'm not going to get banned. So if I called it chaotic truth, and then I go on here and say Epstein didn't kill himself and Ghislaine didn't kill herself in the future either, and stuff like that, because then they're going to be like, "Oh, this guy's a liar. We're going to mark this as false." But so far, most of my stuff doesn't get marked as false.
Well, they haven't had a discussion like this on here yet. So.
Right.
We'll see what comes of it.
So what do you think about Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't know. A lot of the stuff that has been coming out kind of seems, swept under the rug too, just like a lot of the rest of it.
Right.
Like, oh, this is what happened. This is what's going on. Then you hear nothing.
Yeah, my wife was texting me saying that her hair's falling out in prison and stuff. And let me read this real quick. She says, "Talk about Ghislaine. She's losing weight and hair in prison. Get on the Clintons. Also, hold your phone up."
Yeah. Can I give you 1 second? I'm gonna go. I'll be back real quick.
Okay.
Go. 1 second.
Ricky Lynn says she's going to court soon. And Kelsey says Biden's going to pardon her. Yeah, I don't know. I think that now that they killed her boyfriend, she might be scared to talk. But I also think that they have enough evidence on her to... I mean, she has enough evidence on them to get them put in prison for the rest of their lives or hung for treason or whatever. So, I don't know. Yeah, I was going to cover the Clintons, but I decided not to. Did you know that Ghislaine Maxwell comes from the cultural elite? She might not be suffering. Right, neither is Epstein. Epstein's not dead, and I don't know. Yeah, they could have some crisis actor playing Ghislaine. Who knows? We've been on here for like 2 hours. This is the longest one ever. I don't trust Biden, but that boyfriend is now her husband, and he put the money up. There you go. Yeah, I don't look into the Epstein and Ghislaine stuff that much anymore. If you do an episode on the Clintons, I want to be your special guest.
Okay.
He was her puppet.
Sorry for that.
Somebody said that he was Alan. You said he was her puppet. What do you mean by that? I saw somebody say that she was from the elitist families. So is she the one that's got the ties? Yes, Tanner, get all your friends on my page. That'll be awesome. Alan says he'll tell us more later. So
I'll have to send some over too.
awesome. Everybody send all your friends. Let's get a community going here. A conspiracy community.
Likes, thumbs up, share it. Yeah, man.
Right.
Serious.
She's got girls to do things for him because she was a female. Oh, yeah, I know that. I knew that already. Yeah, she was playing on their emotions because what happened is she was going after these young girls and girls that typically would normally know what they're doing, but if they're raised in a crappy environment, then they have... I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yes, she was playing... Women are emotional, men are factual. It just is what it is. Women are emotional, and just like my wife always says, when a woman cheats, it's because she doesn't love the man anymore. Men cheat because they see something that looks nice or whatever. Women cheat for emotional reasons. So if a woman cheats on a man, she doesn't love you anymore. So with that being said, when Ghislaine goes after these girls, she gets like this emotional tie and then gets the girls to come. It could just be like some of them could just come because of the money, but some of them she plays off their emotions because they're from poor, broken backgrounds, and they follow her and they become sex slaves, unfortunately. And then emotionally they can get used to it, and then they can actually end up liking it, which is weird to me, but...
Yeah, it's one of those things they call grooming. They kind of take them at a younger age, and a lot of people say they do the same thing with like religion and all that.
Right.
When it comes down to, getting them when they're young and trying to, like, it's a sick thing. It's something it's going to be for everybody to understand and go down the route of, because it is. Yeah.
Tanner, I'm gonna post the link in the comments, and I'll tag your name in it. So, do you got anything else? Did you make any more notes?
I have a whole thing.
Keep going.
But I was gonna add on to the Ghislaine Maxwell. There's a page I watch. His name is Professor Doom. He kind of goes and dives into some things sometimes that aren't typically, touched upon with some of these events.
Mm-hmm.
Like he decided to go and call people with Sandy Hook and actually call the family and get a hold of these people and actually talk to them on the phone. He doesn't just take the ideas and understandings of what a lot of people are saying. He kind of, he does the investigative journalist type and actually goes and does that. And so, some people do, some people don't. Some people would just rather report on it, talk to their friends about it. But he actually goes down and does that stuff. So it's, it's one of those pages that kind of gives you a little bit of info and things that are going on. He does have a pretty good following, and he does touch on other things, not just political, but he also touches on, the occult, the underground stuff you might not even ever heard of. And it kind of gives you a little bit of a different representation of kind of the whole, companies and the whole web of 6-7 companies owning pretty much everything.
What's his name?
Kind of gives you that spectrum. Professor Doom.
Professor Doom, Doom?
Yes. Now, there's like some pages that popped up after a couple of years and started mocking him.
Okay.
Kind of like making fake pages, trying to pretend. But
do you know?
let's see,
Yeah, if you have a page for him, share it into that Facebook post, if you can.
Okay. Yeah, I should have him on here. He has like 2 or 3 backup channels because a lot of different people in a lot of places have to have backup channels. Once one goes down because of one video, causes them to lose their stuff, they have a couple backups to try to upload. BitChute's pretty good because a lot of the times they respect people's censorship, this whole censorship stuff. Parler, I haven't really been on Parler too much, but I'm trying to get onto it.
Yeah, Red Ice.
Just because, just tired of this stuff.
Red Ice, they're the ones with the... they're the ones that were the nationalists, that had the black nationalist on there. They're on BitChute now.
Yep.
But they have some...
Good, sorry.
They have some pretty good stuff on there, and like if you don't like some of the stuff that they're saying, if you can allow yourself to listen and maybe ignore some of the stuff that you don't agree with, they're pretty good on like anti-communist and all that stuff. So I think that they have a lot of pretty good stuff.
Yeah. So you do. You can find a lot of stuff with the mainstream always telling people YouTube started taboo. There's a lot of independent journalists. There's a lot of doctors. Even mainstream media are on YouTube. Promoting and doing things, and that's when I try to get people to understand about the First Amendment and the freedom of the press. Because when the media starts going the ways they do, and they are, it's blatant to some people. Other people are still, rolling it around in their head. But that's the importance of the First Amendment, the freedom of the press, because that's like the last bastion of trying to get information out about something that might be censoring you. And look what's going on today. So
that's kind of funny that he's got
being hit really hard.
It's kind of funny that yes, she is in Facebook jail. That's kind of funny that I just opened this up and it says 2030, no possession, no privacy, won't life be grand? So he's talking about the Great Reset, and he's got the date of 2030. Sylvia Brown, we talked about this before, but Sylvia Brown said in 2020 that there was going to be a like a virus that would hit. And then she said it's going to go away, and then it's going to come back 10 years later. So it's kind of funny that this Professor Doom is talking about 2030 because Sylvia Brown predicted that in 2030, whatever happens in 2020 is going to come back. It's going to disappear for 10 years and then come back again. And so if you really believe in that kind of stuff, it's going to go away for 9 years, and then it's going to come back. So if things work out well and that does end up happening, you guys are going to have 9 more years to get ready, and then the proverbial shit is going to hit the fan. My wife likes when I say that. And proverbial is one of those words. I looked up what does IAL mean? IAL means that with the root word IAL means that it belongs to something, or it's talking about something. So proverbial means proverb-ial. So basically what proverbial means is something that's foreshadowed or talked about in a proverb. And the proverb is when the shit hits the fan. So the proverbial shit is hitting the fan.
Yeah, it's going to too. And it's just a matter of timing and what the current events are. And I think that's why a lot of people are starting to pay attention, because like I've been telling people for years, the idea of what are you going to do when life as we know it just doesn't exist tomorrow and everything starts changing, and I started to get that idea out there to people so they can maybe put it in their head and think about it a little bit. But it's kind of hard to do when, people are so wrapped up in their lives, they're watching the shows and football, like we were saying. So, just trying to get people to look in the right direction to say, I know you want to live life comfortably and peacefully, but you're not going to have that if this stuff starts happening. Football is going to go away. You're going to start seeing less and less of what you like. It's like boiling the frog. And my word that I've been using instead of primordial, I've been using disingenuous, because that seems to be the word of the week, a month for me, because it's the perfect representation of what I've been seeing, and with a lot of this is disingenuous. A lot of it is to me, but I'm just one person out of billions. But.
It is disingenuous. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny that you say that because, like, I like certain shows. Like, I love Trailer Park Boys. It's a hilarious show. I love it.
Same.
But
Same.
it's
Ricky.
and it's the same. It's not even like I like to get into the car and listen to music. I love rock and roll. We talked about this. You like metal. I like old rock and roll. I love Ozzy. I love all like Zeppelin. I like all that stuff. But I'm to the point now where I would rather get in the car and not listen to rock and roll and listen to a podcast or an audiobook or watch. Well, I shouldn't say watch because I'm driving. Listen to the Robert Seffer YouTube videos. Like, just like I was going to talk about the Clintons, and then I put on one of the Robert Seffer videos while I was driving, and I could I was listening to this stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. So like,
Yeah.
I would rather listen to that stuff and build my knowledge or give me more to talk about or whatever than I would to listen to music. Because what's music going to do? It's just going to numb my brain, and that's exactly, again, back to church. This is what. See, the church that I went to is different than the church that everybody else goes to. They were against watching movies. They were against watching TV. They were against all that stuff. And so it goes back to what the pastors would call bread and circuses. Well, what is bread and circuses? In Roman times, they would give away. You would stand in the bread line and get food, and then you would go to the Olympics or whatever the event was, and that's what bread and circuses is. It's just to numb your mind. And so now they have McDonald's and football games is the same as bread and circuses. It's exactly what it is. It's just to numb your brain to what's really going on. Same with TV shows, same with movies, same with everything. It's to numb your brain. And it's not even just to numb your brain, it's to indoctrinate you. If you listen to this Robert Seffer guy, his stuff is, holy crap, he's got so many followers, and he's got 2 pages. He's got the Robert Seffer page and the Atlantean Gardens page, and he's got hundreds of thousands of followers. But he's talking about in some of his videos that he's getting shadow banned on some of his stuff. And it's like, this guy, when you start listening to him, you'll understand why he gets shadow banned, because he says stuff that you're not supposed to say. He goes against the out of Africa. Go ahead.
No. That's why, like, some of these people, that's why they're trying to use the labels and the banners. Because when, say, Democrat comes to you and tries to argue with you, they're wanting to call you a Trumper. Then when you're talking with a Republican, they want to call you, dipshit Democrat, all this stuff. And when you don't fall under those labels and categories, then it's kind of harder to label you.
Right.
And when their talk points and their mainstream stuff doesn't work on you, like when I talk to people, different pages and sites, they tend to like to just bash and call you, communist and all this other stuff. And you're just like, no, I just believe in, healthy rights and fairness of all living creatures, not just humans. I could be considered pretty much a metalhead hippie.
Right.
That'd probably be the best representation of who I am. But I do like classic rock and stuff, so don't think that either. I like all kinds of stuff. I grew up on Snoop Dogg and Master P.
Right.
Then ended up going to like really heavy metal and stuff. So.
I grew up on Snoop Dogg and Master P and Cash Money Records.
Yeah.
I grew up on.
You should have been hanging out a long time ago,
Right. I grew up on Detroit rap.
Yeah.
And it's getting famous.
ICP and stuff. They had some different stuff.
Yeah, well.
ICP was different.
Yeah, not necessarily ICP, but I'm talking about Detroit hood rap. But I did like ICP a little bit when I was younger. Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, some stuff was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I started getting into a little more of like truth rap and stuff with Gangstar, The Moment of Truth. Good songs, Clint Eastwood. Can't remember the name of the band.
Gorillaz.
Gorillaz, excuse me. Yeah. Immortal Technique has a lot of truth rap. Diabolic has a lot of truth rap. they kind of give you out that idea and the understanding. Stuff's not what it is. Pay attention. It is. It's kind of enlightening. Necro has some different stuff.
I'm happy. I'm feeling glad. I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on.
Yeah.
Did you see my post? Did you see my post?
I get it. Yeah.
Did you see my post where I said when rage is the machine?
Yeah. What happened to them? They were supposed to come back in 2020.
I guess Rage Against... I don't know what happened to them, but I guess they're Antifa supporters.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, my wife told me that. She's like, they're Antifa supporters. And I'm like, oh, God. So then I said, when Rage is the machine.
Yeah, right. True.
Oh, man. We've been going at this for 2 hours now.
Don't seem that long.
I know.
I was fighting to, stay awake, and I took up, basically 4 cups of coffee in my 2.
I told you it would work out. When...
Yeah. That's why I said we hit on a bunch of different topics, and, I hit on, a lot of different stuff, because it all pieces together eventually, with the news and current events, and it's been kind of floating around. Yeah, we touched on a lot of stuff.
Sam says he used to listen to NWA. Yeah, you don't want to get me started on NWA, because then we'll go into Eazy-E and how they gave him AIDS on purpose, and how AIDS is in the coronavirus vaccine, and then we'll be here for another hour. Did you hear about that, though? Did you hear about AIDS being in the coronavirus vaccine?
There was an explanation of San Andreas from Grand Theft Auto, where that was supposed to be the representation of Eazy-E and the fallout of Dr. Dre. Like, that was supposed to be the, wink, wink, hint, hint kind of thing.
Did you see about the AIDS and the coronavirus vaccine, though?
I heard something of it, but as much stuff is coming out of this and out of that, and the reports of things not being, not being, like, they're being disingenuous, is that word again?
Right.
And trying to, get the reality of what's going on, because you can watch some stuff from the UK, and they're just like, the vaccine's not, is after the people get the vaccine, you're going to see a lot of death, strokes, paralysis, and all this. And they're just telling you right after it's nothing to do with the vaccines. And you're trying to figure out, well, you go back to the same thing again. That's a factor, you got to factor it in. And seeing that and the way they're trying to present it, it's nuts.
So do you agree that it could possibly in there, or do you not agree?
In a way, I do.
Okay.
We're not kind of quite sure. Is when things are being disingenuous. Obviously, Smith-Mondack was, appealed and all that. They can kind of pretty much tell you what you want without any repercussions. Same thing with, being liable for damages with the vaccines and things.
Yeah, and they're not.
Why would you take a product that the company themselves can't even stand behind? If you can't stand behind your product, you expect everybody just to accept it. That's I don't find that very good common sense.
Right. Like if you own McDonald's and you won't eat McDonald's. Who was that? I can't think of what food owner said that they wouldn't feed their own food to their kids. I can't think of which restaurant that was.
That goes along with the lines of people that invented the technology for like cell phones and computers and laptops. They won't even let their own children use them, or they don't use them themselves.
Or
like different ways.
Or like actors that don't let their kids watch TV.
Yeah, they're all up in movies and all this other stuff, and then they don't show it to their own families and just tell them not to watch it because of the it's kind of one of those things that are hidden in plain sight. It's tell live vision. Live through vision.
Yes, sir.
Programming for a reason.
Or telling lies to your vision.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
What's up?
You said telling lies through vision. I said, or telling lies to your vision. That's what we used to say. Tell lie vision. It's telling lies to your vision.
Yeah. Yep.
And
That's pretty much what it is, and that's how I started seeing it.
And it's crazy because what they're doing is everything goes together. Like everything that we've talked about this whole entire day, from this whole 2 hours, from the GMOs in your food all the way till now when we're talking about television. If you guys go on my regular Facebook page, Tom's probably been on it. My cover photo, it says, and now back to your regularly scheduled programming, and it's got the old different color boxes that used to be on the TVs. It's called programming for a reason, because they're programming you. So what they're doing is they're taking their GMO food and they're closing your eye. That the Bible, the King James version of the Bible always uses eye singular. It says to open your eye. It's talking about your eye. And then you eat these GMO foods and they close your eye, and then that makes it easier for your programming, your tell lie vision to program you. And so that's why, like, you can't even be mad at the people that are sheep and that just go along with everything. And it's because they eat their McDonald's, they drink their Pepsi, and then they watch their TV, and the TV tells them what to believe. And it's funny because, again, back to Supernatural, that's exactly what TV and movies, what they do is they actually don't tell lies. They're telling you exactly what they're doing. And they put it on TVs and make entertainment out of it, and you watch it and you're like, man, this is funny. This is awesome. I love this show. And people like me and Tom are sitting, and some of you guys are sitting here watching it going like, this is exactly what's going on right now in the world. How can I even sit here and watch this stuff? Because this is exactly, like, I used to watch it, and I would watch it on my phone, and then I would go home and show my wife, and I'd be like, babe, look at this. And that's why I said back in 2014, I posted that post saying, I Am Legend is telling you exactly what's happening. Vaccines are turning people into zombies. And here we are.
Yep. That's why I started off with the depopulation, because a lot of that stems to just about everything. When it comes to the foods, the chemicals, the studies, the vaccines, you can even look into like Operation Northwoods when it comes down to that, and seeing, how far they decided to go with wanting to plan and plot some events and make it look like something. And it's like, okay, well, this shows intent to want to, counterfeit an event, but, did they actually do it? You don't know. It's, like I said, it could be in plain sight, but you just got to look at it.
Right. All right, guys, I'm done. It's time for bed.
All right. Well,
So,
hey, man, it was definitely awesome to talk to you. Good to meet you.
You too.
Anytime
Thanks.
you ever want somebody to with or something, I'm on from time to time. Just set up some time or something so I got a heads up, and chat anytime, man.
I'm going to have to get Sam on here, too. Sam's going to have to get on here, and we're going to have to see his real face and not just Chef Boyardee, because I love his stuff, too. You and him are always on my stuff, and you guys are always talking on there. And, Sam says thanks. So even if we just talk on speaker, like if he doesn't want people to see his face, even if he calls me on Facebook and we do it the same exact way, I'm cool with that. But yes, this has been awesome, and I loved it. I wish it could have worked out better, but this has been fine just how it is. Tanner, you can come on anytime too. But Alan, you guys these are all the people that are always here. Anybody that's pretty much a top fan, you guys can call anytime you want, and you can be on the show. Just message me. And just don't forget, Tanner says he wants to be on. Well, let's see if it will even let me invite you on here, Tanner. Yeah, there's no ad button. You're showing up on my viewers, but there's no ad button for you. Tom didn't even show up on my viewers. So we got to figure out what the heck's going on. But anyways, stay tuned, guys. Don't forget, next Monday is the day. Get all your friends on here now. Everybody go invite all your friends now, because next Monday, 7 o'clock, me and my wife are going to be on here, and we're going to be talking about the true origins of Christmas. And again, we celebrate Christmas, but we're going to put you guys on to the true origins of Christmas. When we went to the church we went to, we didn't celebrate Christmas, and it's because Christians shouldn't celebrate Christmas. I don't want to get too much into it.
Saturnalia.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it, but yes. Next Monday at 7 o'clock, me and my wife are going to be talking about the true origins of Christmas. And please don't miss out. You guys are going to love it, I promise. I even bought a headphone splitter so that we can... I was trying to get it to where... There it is. I have like 4 of these microphones, but... I bought this laptop for doing this and editing and stuff, but I didn't pay attention. There's no camera on it. And so we're going to have to use the tablet to keep recording, but there's only one hookup on the tablet because it's an iPad. And so I can't hook up 2 microphones because it doesn't have enough power to hook 2 microphones up. So I'm going to hook up 1 microphone, and I'm going to split it the same way that me and Tom are splitting it between me and my phone. And we're going to have 2 sets of headphones on, and we're going to jam this thing out. Yeah. And don't miss it, please.
Nice.
Everybody be there. Everybody.
To be here. Hopefully I get a chance.
Awesome. Even if you only see some of it, but like I told you, I think it was you that said that you missed the one show. You guys you don't have to be here when it's live. I want you to be, but you don't have to be. It is more encouraging. Like right now, I mean, there's still 7 people here, and we've been talking for 2.5 hours. It's always encouraging to see 30 people watching my videos.
Yeah.
Like 30 out of 4,000 or 4,500 or however many people are on the page. 30 people encourages me, even 10. But yes, make sure you guys are here. This is going to be awesome. I promise. But all right, everybody, tell Tom thank you for being on.
Stuff, we got a lot of comments.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was exciting to see. We got enough comments and stuff. Hopefully, this will go out there a little bit further, and hopefully, start finding like-minded individuals as well. Because there's many.
Yes, there are. They just need to be here with us.
Thank you. Respect to letting me come on and BS with you for a little bit and shooting some bull.
Awesome. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later, and I appreciate everyone telling Tom thank you, and I appreciate Tom coming on, and we'll figure out who's going to be on next with me. Well, after my wife, for the next show, after me and my wife's show, we'll figure out who's going to be on here next. All right, see you guys later. Oh,
much
no.
Love.
It won't let me finish this video. Probably.
Might be my account, man. I'm telling you. I don't know. No, it is a fact.
Yeah, it's not letting me finish the video, which means I'm going to have to back out of it. Oh, no. I hope this doesn't delete my video. Oh, I hope this doesn't delete. I'm going to have to save this video before I get off here.